I was adopted when I was a year old. Although not my biological mother, the woman who raised me is my mother, and I've never doubted her love. However, it's taken me almost a lifetime to appreciate what a very special woman she is. My mother, Alice, was abandoned by her mother at the age of 3 and left with a violent and physically abusive father. She was finally rescued when she was 10 by Michigan state authorities and placed in a convent school. At this point, her formal education stopped and her life was bound by the convent, where she became a postulant when she was 17. However, wanting a family life, she left and somehow made her way to Toronto, where she met her husband. I like to joke that my mother, the nun, broke her engagement to Jesus and left him at the altar. Because of the circumstances of her life, and likewise of my first year of life, our perceptions and insecurities really grated on each other, and I never felt worthwhile or lovable in childhood. This made our relationship pretty passionate and largely negative. Eventually, I married Rick, who had become a widower 10 years before he met me. My insecurities made it difficult to deal with his children. In particular, my stepdaughter Michelle and I had an increasingly difficult time together. But one day, I came across a nonfiction book called Motherless Daughters, and I brought it home. What an eye-opener it was. So many things that I took for granted, being a growing girl with an adult woman in my life, were things that gave me a sense of self, of womanhood, that Michelle hadn't had. The book gave me an insight into how she approached the world. And then with a shock, it struck me that I was also reading about my own mother and the difficulties she endured. I gave copies of the books to both my stepdaughter and to my mother. This was my way of trying to let them know that I was slowly coming to appreciate their differences and strengths. Since then, I have come to adore both women and to understand the extraordinary strength they've shown in building home lives for their husbands and children. This is particularly exceptional of them since, lacking that childhood experience of motherhood, they had to learn it all on their own. Happy Mother's Day to two women who have brought great joy and richness to my life and for whom I am endlessly grateful.